5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening. Oh my God, hang on a second. I was disappearing off the screen there. How are we all doing, everybody? There we go. Look at me. I look beautiful again. I know what you're saying. It'll take more than that. Welcome along. It's Friday at 6 o'clock. It's not Crackerjack, but it is the back pages. Actually, despite everything that's been going on, it's actually been a quiet week on the news front, because when I was looking at sort of condensing everything to come on this show, so like taking all the news and condensing it into one easy to manage news item, it was all repeated. It was all like Ndidi, might be, could be, is, and it's the same. So we'll have to try and drag it out a little bit. Blue Fox is in. Hi, Blue Fox, all the way from Canada there. How are you doing, sir? Welcome along. Look, he's here. He's back. He's the man without whom I would struggle to run this channel. Let's get Wayne in and let's talk Leicester. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
Good evening, Chris. Reporting for duty.
Indeed. And as I said, thank you for joining us. If you're in the chat, get your thoughts on news items in that chat as we go through. Do keep the chat clean and respectable, though. If you're watching it on catch-up, add your comments in below on YouTube. Again, if they're not clean and respectable, it's very easy for me. It's one button to ban. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much. All I'll say is, guess who's been out in the sun today and is wearing a white top to show his tan off?
Hey, I know. You know what, Chris? As I was driving home, I did have to drive over the near junction 22 of the M1 in Leicestershire, and the northbound was absolutely chock-a-block heading to can't even think about it. Nottingham. Junction 23, 24. And you know what? When you look at all of a sudden, you're driving over an A road, you look down at the motorway, chock-a-block, you're thinking, well, it could be worse. You could be a Nottingham supporter that might end up thinking they're doing well in Europe and getting relegated, and we're going to be in the Premier League next season.
Exactly. I mean, I know Mr. Dawes probably not going to come in, but he did sort of hijack Jack's show the other day. Always have a bit of banter with him. But I'm just going to say, Mr. Dawes, Nottingham Forest fan, beating Fiorentina's not for everybody, is it?
Hey, now, Chris.
Oh, come on! It's not even Forest. It's allowed. It's allowed. Hello, Stuart. How are you as well, guys? Look, we're trying to get to 1,000 likes. I think I'm going to be able to start going live soon on TikTok and doing some lives on there. But whenever we do these shows, we always take little clips and upload them to TikTok. And can I say as well, for everybody who is listening via your podcast, whatever favourite podcast platform, whatever that may be, since we've gone into in conjunction with Talk Sport, which is about a season and a half, I guess, I've had actually 99,434 downloads. So
that's incredible, isn't it, Chris?
It is. To say that, I mean, before it was like, I've gone up about 1,000 within the week. And guys, like I say, thank you for everybody that follows us on the YouTube, but thank you for everybody that follows us via the podcast platform as well. 99,500. I mean, I just like, it just doesn't compute.
To be honest, don't you find that a lot? I mean, I catch up on a lot of your shows and different things on catch up, basically.
Yes.
So when it's convenient, and that's the great thing about this kind of format, isn't it? That people can catch up, even not during the live thing. They can catch up later when, Yeah, and
I've got to say, I mean, the other day, I think it was Tuesday, there was 4 Leicester City channels all going live, all probably on the same topic, all at the same time. It was like, what do you do?
You know, the encouraging thing is though, Chris, compared to like the official channels, the quality on these shows is brilliant, isn't it? You know, analytical.
I am a little bit biased.
Well, it's the chat that normal fans would have going down to the match, chatting at half time, or going to the pub, going to the Western on the boulevard near the university, or stopping in along Narber Road for a drink on the way after the match. You know, it's the normal chatter, isn't it?
It is. I try not to, although we have a football channel, I've always tried to keep it where it is light banterish type chat. And, I'm not a great tactician, and I know we do tend to sort of do tactics every now and again, especially on the review show with Brad. But, we just try to keep it as if it's sort of, a few ignorant fans down the pub talking over a cider.
Yes, and as Michael said there, Chris, he said he downloads it because that's one thing that as you get older you don't do so much, and the kids go download it, and then you can download it on your phone. You can listen whenever you want. So when you think back in the day that we had teletext, didn't we? You know what I mean?
Why did we teletext? And this could be a good topic for Monday. But did you remember with teletext? If you wanted page 601, you would type 60, or you'd press 601 on your remote, and it would always start at 602, and you'd have to wait for it to go all the way back round again.
Really, that's interesting. Yeah, because you had to know your numbers, didn't you?
Yes, you had to write them all down, but it always started when you pressed it in advance. But Michael says, I download your podcast when I go on a plane. It makes the hours fly by. I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you very much. And Blue says, Auden Chris, glad you download as a podcast. Good way to catch up if I miss a show. Brilliant as well, mate. Really do appreciate that. Fast text. What was you had teletext, and what was there was a BBC and an ITV one, wasn't there? But look, I know it was. I always remember you could always go up and get the scores, couldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. When you think what you can. So I'm chatting with my brother about football, and we talk about, what year was the 3 playoffs, and then what year did you can just go on your phone, you got all that information, whereas everything.
Because I always remember this coming out of work, because I used to work Saturdays, coming out of work, one below's window, get in front to watch, and if you were a little bit late, you couldn't get to see it. You're shouting at somebody at the front, how did Leicester do? But anyway, shall we get on with the news?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Like I say, there's not a huge amount when I came to do it. I'd actually done probably more thumbnails this week than I have done for the social media, but it was all kind of the same one topic, all the way through. But I'm going to start with this, which is not on the information I sent to you, so I apologise for that because it was very, very late when this came up. But Oh, no, this isn't the one, sorry. This was bloody Sky Sports getting me excited. Sheffield United close to Samari deal. Now, I was like going like, God, you got to love those Sheffield guys, haven't you? And of course, it's a difference to Samari.
You were doing the Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun when he does the strike one, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I love that film.
Yeah.
So I got all excited because I thought we were going to get rid of the big donkey, but unfortunately not. But this has just been announced in the press conference, and we will watch the press conference if you want at the end. I don't know if you've seen the press conference at all.
I've not seen it yet, Chris. No.
We'll have a look at that later in the show. But Capitão, which is Portuguese for the captain. Not a surprise, I suppose, out of everybody that you could choose from. I mean, I know Nelson's had it off season and what have you, but this was the obvious choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was talk about Hamza, for his. It's crazy to think that Hamza is one of the mature players that the younger lads, even Bilal looks up to, really, because I still view Hamza as like 22, 23, like your nephew, like your niece, nephews and nieces. But yeah, it's interesting because you've had plenty of discussions, haven't you, about his fitness and injury. Yeah. But his pure ability, top grade.
I do not question his ability, and I do not question his leadership skills. I do question his fitness, though. And I mean, here is the point. In case in point, he's just been announced as captain by Marty, and he's going to miss the game against Sheffield Wednesday.
Exactly, Chris. It's like because one of the main criticisms of Cooper was why is he not playing for Tawu and Ricardo?
Yeah.
He subsequently went on with significant injuries and were out for a lot of the season. And when Ricardo did come back, what happened? He got injured again, which is what you highlighted, didn't you? So I think all along they got stats on maybe that Fatawu and Ricardo were redlining, they're really injury ready, prone to injury, and they both got injured. So, as you say, potential is one thing, but if you're not featuring, it's like Cody. He was brought in by Enzo to be a leader, lead the back line, but with injuries, did he actually end up being that kind of player for the squad? No. So I think your concerns over Ricardo are well-founded, Chris.
Yeah, I think so, but I get why he's picked him as captain. I'm trying to think when his contract runs out. Can you remember when has he got 2 years left or 1 year left?
I think, is he one of the 10 players that have got 1 year left, I think?
Let me get it up, and if you pardon the expression, and I will tell you, Ricardo Pereira. I've lost him. Oh, there he is. 2026. So he's only got 12 months left on his contract.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is on £80,000 a week.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of money, even when you're playing, 46 games a season. I reckon we'll be looking to get 20 games out of him this season.
I think you're spot on, Chris. I think what you said with Ricardo all along is spot on. It doesn't matter about potential, does it? So, like, we signed Samare because the stats in Europe were hedging. You sign him, and he will be a European leading on stats, and the same as Dakar. So all the scouts knew Dakar. All his stats were brilliant. Ruud van Nistelrooy wanted him to go to PSV, sorry. And sometimes they don't work out that way. So I think you're spot on about Ricardo. It's going to be interesting how he manages with. So whether he plays central midfield or is inverted, because definitely if he has to play where he has to sprint, I think he will pick up injuries.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Blue Fox says there, no surprise it was Ricky. Even with his injury record, I think he probably has the respect to the dressing room and seems like a really good guy. Totally. I mean, look, I don't. I think if he's fit, Hamza doesn't get in the team. And
100%.
yeah, and I think if he is injured and Hamza's in the team, Hamza's the captain.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's a nice place to be, isn't it? You know, some seasons we looked at, well, who's the leader in the team?
Yeah,
Really. And Hamza is, you know, it's like, you know, Casper left, we couldn't replace him. We might need to sell Mads, Stolarchik's there. We've got a couple of people, you know, we talked about Nelson and because we were so in love with the youth from Seagrave, but obviously Marty's with a few things, he's gone for, you know, established sort of and respected experience.
yeah, I understand that. Hi, Dan, by the way, Dan in from Turf Moorhouse TV, who once again we were waving to as we went down and they went up. Congratulations, good luck in the Premier League next season, mate. He said you needed effectively need a captain, but you need at least 4 or 5 leaders on the pitch to rally the troops. That said, do you feel Ricardo's been given the captaincy to keep him at the club? I don't personally. I don't, because I think, you know, he's 31. At the end of this season, if he stays the whole season, if nobody comes in for him, so his contract will expire 30 June 2026. He will just be let go. He's on 80 grand a week.
Yeah.
That's 4.16 million a year. And that's, I mean, you know, if we're saying, wow, you know, if that was Jamie Vardy, you'd be saying, wow. But Jamie Vardy plays a hell of a lot more games than this guy.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it's like stick or twist in pontoon, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, so he's got a year left. So if you can get a year out of him being captain, playing a lot of playing at least half the games, will he have served out his term? And the thing is with Ricardo, if he could stay fit, you are not having to sign somebody of that quality to play on our side. But the big question mark, as you said, Chris, is how fit can he be? And maybe with the hyper-dynamic, switchable, fluid play that we're playing, there might be less strain on Ricardo to do things, and it might be spread. But I do think the high press and the athletic necessity of what Marty wants, he's spreading out through the whole team. So it's a more shared thing. So maybe that might help Ricardo.
I'm just trying to look how many games he played last season. Just bear with me a tad.
He got injured. He came back and he got injured quite quickly, didn't he, when he came back?
Yeah, well, this is the problem. If you're paying him, like, I mean, Mads is on what, 10 grand a week or something, and you know, I mean, you don't want any of your players to get injured. But when you're on 80 grand, especially, you don't want, you know, you want that guy to be playing. Now, let me just see if I can bring up how many games he played last.
I think that was one of the main criticisms of Cooper. People saying, hang on a minute, you've got a Premier quality player like Ricardo and you're not playing him. And at the time, I'm thinking, well, there's got to be a reason why he's not, you know, Cooper's not a stupid manager. And what happened, Ricardo came back, I think it was within like a couple of weeks, he got injured.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's not saying there. So let me just go and find something else. Now, according to this site, he played 386 minutes, 10 games as a starter, and 10 as a sub. So he played 20 odd games last season.
Sorry, how many minutes did he play, Chris?
386 minutes. This is in the Premier League. I'm not talking about cups or anything like that.
Okay, so if you divide that by 90 minutes, that's 4.2 games.
Right.
I'm doing my impression of Chris's calculator, which I think should be a really good. You know, when you got your calculator out, Chris, on the wages, you can't argue with those.
No.
Mathematics is mathematics.
What did I say he was? What did I say he was on? 4.16 million.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, divided by.
So basically, £1 million a game.
Divided by 20. No, 208,000 a game.
But if you say that, okay, so he's done 386 minutes, which divided by 90 minutes is 4.2 games.
He must have done. He's done more than 4 games, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's at 90 minutes. So all of those 20 games is not. Might only done.
Basically, it's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being on that, to be honest with you.
So if you've only done 386 minutes in an entire season, and it's only 90 minutes per match, that's 4.2 matches equivalent you've contributed.
In fairness, though, under Cooper, he wasn't injured. He just wasn't being picked. And that's what pissed everybody off, because Cooper's saying, I'm not playing the youngsters. You're not going to blame me if I go down because I've been playing youngsters. And that's why he went out and bought the likes of, Fatu, Ayew and Bobby DeCover-Reid and all those.
And the wonderful Edouard.
And Edouard, yes. And then we were all saying, look, you want experienced player. The most experienced player at the club after Jamie Vardy is Ricardo, and you're not even, picking him.
But I do think I think he picked Ricardo through pressure, and then Ricardo got picked and he got injured. I don't think Ricardo was ready to play. If he,
no. Turf says there. Dan says, who's the other right back? The other right back's our left back. we did go and spend 3 million on a right back, and who knows where he is?
It's Justin, isn't it, Chris? The right back, James Justin. Right back.
I'm saying our left back. Yes. In fairness, I know you're trying to rile me up, and I'm not biting. But it's although having said that, he got Hamza Chowdhury as well, and we have got Koulibaly, but God knows, like I say, he's like the invisible man.
But don't you think so many things this season are fitting? Like Hamza played for Sheffield United as a right back, and I think sometimes he played central midfield. I think sometimes he inverted as well. During that season, so the fact that we've got Hamza to come in, there's so many things I think fit in well this season.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I know what Blue Fox is saying there. Be sorry to see him free. Go on a free. Who's going to buy him? Anybody that looks at him and goes, I need a. We want a right back. They're going to look at that, his injury record, and go, no, thank you. The only club that would buy him with that injury record is Leicester City.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it's like with your nephews and nieces, or you always think they're 22, where there's 35, and Ricky P is 31 years old.
Yeah,
actually, he's 31 years old, but in October he's 32.
Yeah,
so he's literally at the tail end of his career, isn't it?
Yeah. So look, I get losing him for nothing. In fairness, I do. But well, that's it. He has been named captain. The first news, Soumaré was not the Soumaré going to Sheffield United that I hoped it would be. But there we go. So, if you like, by the way, guys, if you like my little bit of Portuguese there. You didn't know I spoke Portuguese, did you?
I didn't, and your culture is admirable, Chris.
I speak Spanish as well.
Really?
Yeah. Gracias, penis.
Hey, yeah, you can't beat it. You can't beat a bit of gallows humour, can you, Chris?
You can't. No, you can't indeed. Thanks, Cock.
Used for centuries in the bowels of the sailing ships.
Indeed. As if anybody was wondering, it is thanks, Cock. Right, here we go. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Wow. This, to me, I know it's not Leicester news, but look, he's a Leicester lad. I love this guy. And I put this post out going, like, if only we'd A, still been in the Premier League, B, hadn't fucked up PSR, we could have gone and got this guy back, and he would have come back, I reckon. And he's gone to Chelsea. All right, in fairness to him, he has won he's won a European Cup. So fair play to him. Doesn't matter what it is, he's won a cup. This to me just sums up what a bunch of wankers Chelsea are.
Yeah, you know what? I always questioned why he went to Chelsea because of the history of other players going to Chelsea.
Yeah.
And he went, and his fans saying, he loves the club so much, he wanted to open that with PSR, etc., etc. But I don't know whether the club had chats with Kiernan and say, look, Kiernan, we really need you to move because with PSR. Because I can't imagine the conversation that Enzo had with him to convince him to go. And then, look, has he got is he in the Champions League? Has he got a Cup Winners' Medal? Yeah, he's got those. But he was a bit part player. And there's some fans that said, you know what, when he comes on, he's brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
But then Enzo doesn't play him. So that's the dilemma. And it's just a shame that he's going to somewhere like Everton. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on there because they've got the new stadium, but historically Everton.
Yes.
What do you think about the move, Chris?
I understand it because he's going to get regular play there. I know Dan's in, but I don't know if he'd have gone if it had been Sean Dyche. But look at the way that David Moyes turned Everton round last year. I think they could be a surprise package. There's talk about them going for Grealish. The PSR wise, they are fine. I don't think he particularly wanted to go to Chelsea. Somebody else came in for him. I can't remember who it was. I think it was a Championship club, possibly. But look, we told him, I think, that we couldn't afford to keep him. He was helping us out. I'm sure he didn't rush to the door and said, "Tell me where I'm going, boss." But he loved the club through and through. He would have come back. And at the end of the day, look, I don't know if he is money grabbing or I don't think he is, but I can't say that. I don't know him. But, he could have stopped at Chelsea and earned the money as being, a bench warmer. But he didn't, he chose to go to Everton, where he probably knows he won't get as much success as he did at Chelsea, but he'll play regular football. And I wish the lad all the best.
Yeah, and that's why like the Bellinghams going to Borussia Dortmund, when a lot of these young lads who have played in the, Euro winning or World Cup winning squad in the youth or under 21s, they get to, they're on the big clubs' books and they don't get a sniff in the first team. They just do not get a sniff. And that's what I'm hoping, that we've got Coney. I think there's loads of lads who are on the Chelsea books, Man City books, Liverpool books, that really would in the Championship, like the Fires. So I respect, as you said, him for doing it. I mean, he's 26 years old, Chris.
Yeah.
His life's been Leicester, but you think about it, he's only a couple of years off 28. So I think he's probably, because when they did interviews,
what paper thinking, mate? There's nothing gets past you, does it? 26 is a couple of years off 28. You know your maths.
Well, when you get to 28, it's like the discussion with Brownhill. Do you want to be signing somebody who's 28? So this is a real significant move for him. He loves Leicester. And the stories of when his mum used to wait for him in the car and take him to which all parents do when the kids love football, and on the books of all these football clubs, the parents drive them around all over the place. And it was a big move to go Chelsea. He's got some silverware. He's earned some money. And like people said about Ruben Van Nistelrooy, when you get to this stage, you don't need the money.
No.
You don't need it. You're already a millionaire. So you've got to think about it. So do I want first team football?
Yeah.
First and foremost. So I will go to a lower place to try and stake my claim, because some people end up playing for England who go to a lower club and they have a really good career. So we all love him, don't we? We love KDH.
We do. Totally 100%. The thing, Everton is an amazing prospect to go to. I mean, we say about Leicester, don't we? Oh, look at us. We've got this fantastic training ground, fairly decent stadium. We're a great attraction for players. Everton are going to have one of the best stadiums in the Premier League.
Apart from that one seat in the whole stadium that is literally just behind a concrete column, you can't see anything. Did you see that?
Yes, yeah. I mean, good luck with selling that one, eh?
When you're a designer, you're thinking, what a cock up.
Yeah. I think they can probably get by without having to worry too much about the one seat, though. But yeah, I look at, and I think he could have a long career at Everton. And I think Everton will do quite well this season, if I'm honest with you. I know it was Brighton. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you very much indeed. Dan says, better player than Danny Drinkwater was. I think he was. Look, we love Danny Drinkwater. He won the Premier League with us. But I honestly think Kante made him look better than he was.
Exactly, Chris.
Yeah.
The player that literally equated to two players on the pitch for what he covered.
Yeah.
So then Drinkwater had the time to release Vardy early. Without Kante, there's no way Vardy would have got fed half as much as he did.
Yeah.
And I agree with Dan from, he said about Brownhill. Brownhill.
Well, we're going to come on to Brownhill in a bit. So hold that thought. Hold that thought.
But KDH, Everton, I think they're on the up. I think they've had a few seasons where, they've had different managers and they've sort of been dealing with an old stadium. But I do think that Everton are on the rise and the stadium is the start of it.
Oh, I agree totally. And I think it's a good move for him. I think he's going to be better off there than he ever would have been, say, if he'd gone to a Man United. And he could have done a great job at Man United.
He could end up being so he was our hero, wasn't he? He was the guy, local guy. He tried so hard. His heart was on the pitch all the time. So even when sometimes he didn't, he got in the box and he shot wide. We just loved his attitude. And I think Everton will really take him to heart and they'll come to love Kiernan.
I think so. Right. When I said earlier about one story taking up like 4 posts and 4 days and what have you.
Yeah.
Here we go. And there's only Leicester could cock this up the way that they did. And I love my little comment there. Has Wilf gone? Indeed he has. Hey. And the fact that this picture was out on Besiktas Instagram a day before Leicester even announced it. And you know what? Right? I wish Wilf all the best. I'm looking at Wink, Skip, Samari, and Ndidi. I would have said sell the first 3 and keep Ndidi. But nobody's going to come in for the other 3 because they play like they're in a wheelchair. But this guy is gone. We love him. Maybe he's not, a yard off the pace, and maybe it is his time to move on. Right? I won't say that. I'm not going to deny that. We have got the best years out of him. Again, injury prone, hasn't been as good. But this is how our club treats somebody like this. Let me just try and bring this up here. Right. So this is the Leicester City website. This is the main story on the Leicester City website. Just available for Sheffield Wednesday test, says Cifuentes. That's the big news. I would have thought there'd have been a little bit up there going, indeed he's left us. We thank him for everything he's done. I understand them not being for Cody, because let's be honest with you, nobody liked him. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and you will now see this is what we gave one of our best servants at the club. There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, that's I am ashamed of my club. He deserved more than that.
He did, Chris, and I do think that's a common recurring theme with the club. So when people leave, I mean, and look, is Ndidi just a player that's been with us for 2 years? I mean, when did we sign him? Was he 19 years old when we signed him? He's almost been here 10 years, hasn't he?
Over 9 years he's been with us. Yeah.
You know, through the thick and thin, and yeah, I mean, will he get a testimonial, or it's like.
I don't agree with testimonials anymore. No. I'm sorry. These players are on that much money. They don't deserve a testimonial.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like the old days, is it?
Yeah. No, it's not. If they were to do it and give it to charity, but then when do you fit it in and all that? I just think it's embarrassing by our club to do that. Like you say, it's not like it's a Cody. Or if, for example, say Koulibaly was to leave, this is one of our servants. This guy won the FA Cup for us, and the club
at his prime, Chris, he was like Europe leading stat-wise, wasn't it? Yeah. He was literally Europe's best central midfielder what Kante did was like quite unique to Kante. What Ndidi did, he'd be central midfield, then all of a sudden he'd be breaking up attack on the wing.
Yeah,
he jumped straight out to the wing, break the attack down, set back down, and it was so influential in the team.
The funny thing is, he's actually gone to Besiktas in Turkey, and I'm probably murdering that. Blue Fox, Ndidi was a great player for the club. He so was. Like I say, you've got to go back a bit to see that. But even in the Enzo year in the Championship, Enzo got a tune out of him. In a slightly different role. But interestingly, I can remember Man United fans all going, when he first signed for us and had that good first season, Ndidi's coming to Man United. Everybody comes to Man United. Man United are wonderful. The sun shines out of our arse. Yeah, the rain also comes into your stadium as well. And the interesting thing is, I think Solskjaer was the manager then. And of course, Solskjaer is the manager at Besiktas.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought Wilf was going to Man United at one stage.
Yes.
And command. I mean, would they have paid 40 or 50 million for him or something?
Anybody would have done. Man United would have done, wouldn't they?
Well, they would, but I mean, in his prime, he was top end.
Yeah,
top end. I think there was like one other midfielder in all throughout Europe that could match his stats. It was just.
Well, Kante. He wasn't a Kante.
Yeah.
But we almost thought we'd got the new Kante, didn't we?
Well, I mean, how can you? It's like, so who will replace Vardy? Who can replace Kante? Nobody. Yeah. Nobody can replace Kante. But Wilf came very, very close.
Can I just say, are you a religious man?
No, Chris, I'm certainly not.
Oh, no, because it looks like you've got this halo around your head. Because there's a light on the screen behind you, and
Chris. Yeah, that I've set that up purposely. So
you could, if you'd set it up, you wouldn't have got it more perfect on that.
Well, if the light's behind, it doesn't show the wrinkles up on the face.
That's it. Dan, you're right again. But the point. And look, I argued with Reese and Clibbo on this and one or two others. I put this up on social media when it first was obvious that Ndidi was going to go. Look, we got just short of, I think, 8.9 million, something like that, for him. I don't know sort of the exact details. It'll all be undisclosed, I'm sure. And I said, like, with that money, we could get Brownhill, and we could get.
You know what, Chris? I'm not going to stand here and get insulted by Dan. Let me just sit down.
Hey, Dan's ginger, mate. You can go what you want. But
love you, Dan. We'll still support Burnley in the Prem, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah. Look, Coney is a possibility, and again, we will come on to him in a bit. Brownhill, yes, he's 30. Look, the thing I think with Brownhill was he's come out and said he wants a long-term contract, possibly wants 4 years. I'm sorry, you're 30 in December. Nobody's going to give you a 4-year contract. If we were to give him a 2-year contract, we're not going to pay anything to get him in. As an attacking midfielder, he's brilliant. You know, 1 goal off the leading goal scorer, Golden Boot, who was a striker. You know, gets his fair share of assists as well. I would love him, as Kevin Keegan would say, love it, if he was to come.
Calm down, Chris. Calm down.
The problem is, we've got Winks, we've got Skip, and we've got Samari. I know some of those are defensive midfielders. With the youngsters we've got on the bench, I'm just wondering if we do need another 30-year-old. If we could get rid of Skip, if somebody out there, Burnley, was daft enough to come in and pay us to take Skip off our hands, then yes, I think we should get him. But I'm just a bit worried that we've just got so much in that midfield, and especially with the youngsters coming through.
Yeah, I think with our current roster, Chris, we can't justify signing Brownhill. I know some of the, you got Manny who says, no, we're going back to the old things that caused a lot of trouble. But Brownhill is a very, very different. To get that many goals and assists from midfield is incredible. So he's not your atypical thing. I must admit, when you first put the graphic up, Chris, I thought, Eden Hazard coming to Leicester.
He does a bit. You do not know how long and how many different AI sites I went on to get that picture of Brownhill.
But you know what? I do rate him, and I'd love to see, so like you, Ndidi stay in and get rid of every single other midfielder.
Yeah.
Santa's wish list. That's not going to happen. But if we can get rid of like Winks, for instance, who is on. So some people are criticising if the board went for this because of his wages and he won a 4-year contract. You can't say he's going to demand a 4-year contract or the club's going to give him a 4-year contract. But even on a 3-year contract, compared to paying Winks and Skip and Samare, the incredible money they're on, it's like Ayew. Some people criticise Ayew. So if they can sign him $5 million, he scored 5 goals, it's cost you £1 million for every goal he scored. If you sign a striker for 20 million, will he get you 20 goals? So if you sign him, if he gets you 10 goals, if Brownhill gets you 10 goals a season for £60,000 a week on a 3-year contract. Yeah.
I want to ask Dan, because I was struggling. I want to know, do you know, Dan, how much Mr. Brownhill was on last season? Because we've just lost Ndidi, who was on £75,000 a week. We've got 11 million sat in the bank, 9 million from this guy, Ndidi, and 2 million from Cody. You don't appreciate my artwork, Dan. You want to see where his cock is. Anyway, what I would say is how much. Do you know how much he's on, Dan? Do you know how much he's on?
Didn't he turn down a deal with Burnley because he wanted? Is that just a stupid rumour? That he turned down a deal with Burnley?
Well, again, Dan will confirm it. But yeah, apparently he wanted longer, and that's how we got Ayew, because Palace were only offering him a 1 year. But I just think, we got that 11 million, 45k, and we offered him 62. Oof.
So some of the fans are saying he's demanding a 4-year contract and he wants 70, 80 grand a week. That's not feasible. So that what they're pitching. They're pitching Brownhill as a money-grabbing 4-year contract wanting player. From what Dan says, that's not the case.
Well, he turned down 62,000. Now, to my mind, the way I read that is if you're turning down 62, you want at least 70. And I am sorry, I have suddenly just thinking, no. I don't
Could
want.
they have only offered him 1 year or something? You don't know what.
Well, again, Dan hasn't said that, so Dan, I'm sure, will put that up. Oh yeah, I mean that's a very, very, very good point. Maybe they did, like with Ayew. He came to us on a 2. I think it dropped to 35 when we got relegated. We've just offered him 62. I mean, if he comes, I'll be happy. But we cannot go and stop. We can't be paying players 70 grand. We're getting rid of players because they're on 70 grand. So
the one thing I'll say though, Chris, is his 70 grand for goals and assists and effectiveness in the team would trump anybody else's 70 grand. Winks, Skip, Samare.
Yeah.
One thing I will say as well about Brownhill is the most near thing we've got to KDH.
I do get where you're coming from, and you're making a good point. But yeah, I think if we took on somebody and gave them 75,000 or 70,000, they'd bloody break into the King Power, take John Rudkin, stick him on top of a bonfire, and set it on fire. So I think when you get, I know what you're saying, that what you're getting for your money. I mean, Winks and Skip are, well, A, the rubbish, but B, the defensive midfielders. So they're not going to get you those sort of numbers.
I was devil's advocate there, Chris. I would not advocate giving him 70 grand a week.
No. I mean, if we weren't in the PSR shit that we are,
and we've got to rewrite and regrid our wage structure, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. This is the thing. I mean, I mean, Skip's on 50 grand. Winks is on 90 grand. He's now the highest paid player at the club.
No.
But don't forget as well, mate. He also gets mileage.
Yes.
Boom.
You've been running a team where they're sticking the mileage for the sales people, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. It's funny, isn't it? That whenever you used to be able to go on a journey where you could claim the mileage, you always went the long way round and got stuck in traffic. But there we go. Right, let's move on to the next story, which is this guy. I mean, he was in, he was out. He's probably shaking it all about. West Ham. I have got to say, shame on you, West Ham. Absolute shame on you. I think Potter and West Ham are the pits. They had signed this they were offering to sign this other player. He was almost ready to come over and do a medical, and now they've dropped him and said, no, we're going to get Hermansen. Because it didn't look like they were getting Hermansen, they went and got this other player. And let me tell you who that other player might be. John Victor. Now, you know, anybody with 2 first names, they're going to be good, don't you? But it says here, John Victor stranded in limbo as disgraceful West Ham pull the plug. I think they have done the total shit on John Victor.
Yeah. And as well, so you imagine like you're a Manson, you're thinking, am I going, am I not? Am I going, am I not? And your respect for the club would go down, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And the fans at whatever club he's at will be a little bit fed up with him now, you know, to come back in.
Wonder whether Marty played Hermansen to prove he was fit for a transfer. You see what I mean?
Yes, but it's a risk, isn't it, to play him? Because if one of their players, you know, if Dzeko had gone up and run into him, let's be honest with you, he had very little to do, really, did he? Only signed players 26 and younger. 100% Richard, but sometimes there are always exceptions to the rule. There's no transfer fee, as Turf Moorhouse, as Dan, sorry, I keep calling him Turf, as Dan said. And that means you can spend more on wages. 50 grand a week for Skip, and we paid 20 million for him. 70 grand or 65 grand a week for Brownhill, and we don't pay him we haven't got to pay transfer fee. Which one would you take? I think for me,
as you said, Chris, second only to a striker in stats in the championship.
Yeah. So I think it has got to be looked at. But my worry is, and it looks like he's going. Good luck to him. He wants to play in the Premier League. The World Cup's coming up. I honestly get it, and we have to accept that these players don't have any loyalty to a club that's not their club. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall did. This guy doesn't, and I get that. It leaves us with Stolarczyk and Bekovic, because I think Bowser is too young to be considered at the moment. But it's the great thing about having Bekovic in is that he can. We haven't got a proper goalkeeping coach since it's that Mike Stowell, obviously the Van Nistelrooy's guy was, but he was more of an assistant manager. Yeah. He will do an absolutely fantastic job, and I hope at the end of the 12 months we actually keep him on as a goalkeeping coach, Bekovic. Because can you imagine having him as your goalkeeping coach?
Great spot, Chris. I think that's spot on.
Yeah. The problem I have is I don't have any problem with Stolarczyk as number one. I think he's the better keeper, if I'm honest with you. And I know when I did the Foxes Forum on Tuesday, I think it was Jack, Kate, and Craig all said if they're both at the club next season, they all start Mads. And I went, no, you start Stolarczyk. If Stolarczyk plays and gets injured and has to go off in a match, would I worry about Bekovic coming on for 30, 40 minutes? No. If he then wasn't fit enough to play the next game, would I worry about Bekovic standing in for a game or two? No. If he did his ACL and was out for the rest of the season, would I like the thought of Bekovic in goal for the rest of the season? No, I fucking wouldn't.
I knew that.
Yeah, because and I'm going off what the QPR guy said here. The QPR fan, when he was at QPR, he said he cost them points. And I know he had a season at Everton, but he never played a single game for them. That's my worry. That is my worry. Scott, you don't know how close you are to being kicked out, mate.
Scott, no troublemaking on a Friday evening.
I think he is. I think he's troublemaking there. That's my worry. That is why I think we still might need another youngish goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's nice that we're in a position that we can sell Hermansen, and as opposed to when Casper left, thinking, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" And we didn't for a couple of seasons. We didn't actually have the answer to that. And Bowser, I think it's great that he played in some pre-season to expose him and give him a taste of, pre-season, potentially playing in the first team to maybe encourage him to keep progressing. But yeah, Bekovic, I get what you're saying, Chris, but I just think with the squad, you've got to hedge your bets, and I think we've got a great first keeper, and you've got to hope that it's like Fatu, isn't it? Fatu got injured, and that was catastrophic for our season. Because he was so dynamic.
Yeah.
The best winger we've had for donkey's years after Riyad Mahrez. So when he got injured, it was absolutely catastrophic for us. And that's the same with the keeper. Stolarczyk, I view, is that pivotal for us this season. And is there a chance he might get injured? Yes.
Yeah.
And I think if he did get injured, we'd probably have to go in the transfer market and buy another keeper, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, so we probably need to get somebody in. Scott, I get your point, and potentially you may be onto something in terms of having a decent backup. But when we had Japokovic, he came in, he played in a couple of, but he was a lot younger, in fairness. He was in his early 30s. He's nearly getting his pension, Bekovic. But it makes sense on a free, like I say, as that third choice keeper.
Obviously, Ward was happy to be that keeper that earned 50 grand a week and didn't get anywhere near the first team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not all keepers are going to be happy with that.
No. And Jupokovic was, to be honest with you, and Schwarzer was to a point as well, although he did play a few games. But not for sort of any length. Dan, thank you very much, mate. Great news, great news. Dan will be joining me at 9 on the prediction show. I'll tell you what, Dorco says 50 grand a week. The most I ever earned in 49 years was 25 grand. The wages are perverted. Start playing your very small violin.
Hey.
You know what? I was talking to I had a lovely day out with both my daughters live in London at the moment. One of them has to come home regularly for her job. Hannah doesn't. She's an architect and she lives in London. And she's not qualified as an architect. You have to do 3 different sets of 2 years at uni. And she's only just done her first 2. But she's just got a new job. And she was telling me what she said, I didn't know whether to go or not. They've just offered me this. And I went, fuck's sake. I said, you are 25, 26. You are earning more than I was earning when I was bloody 15 at the top of my game.
It's crazy, Chris. You can get a grandchild that sits on the sofa all day, dabbles in social media, and they're 100 grand a week.
I know. It's scary. It's scary. Stefan Bojic, I don't know enough about him. Even backup keepers are being hard to come by. They are. And look, we paid 12.5 million for Danny Ward in Liverpool quarters with our pants down. And Fame, we haven't got one at the moment, I'm afraid. But so good luck. It hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but it'll probably be next week, 3 days after he signs, when the club will make an announcement. Wish him all the best. I think the fans are going mad because they reckon it's 18 million and they reckon we should have held out for more. I think it will. If we hold out for more, this is 18 million. Now, I worked this out the other day. So we've got 20. Some say it's 20, but we're getting 18-20 for this guy, right? We got 2 million for Cody. We got 9 million for Ndidi. Indeed, we did. We saved on Ndidi's wages 8 million over 2 years because he's got 2 years left on his contract. That's 40 million. I don't know how much of that Cifuentes will get, but that's really going to help with the PSR. And the EFL are going to look and go, fair play to Leicester. They are actually trying. They are selling players, so... they're going to look at that and think, brilliant, for that. He might get a bit of money that will help pay maybe for Brownhill and maybe for Coney. And we'll come on to Coney, like I say, in a second. This guy's not on a lot of money, but I think if we'd held out for more, West Ham may have pulled out of the deal. They may have gone to this, bet Victor, as Dan was saying. And we would have not been stuck with Hermansen because he's a decent goalkeeper. But we need the money. That's the thing we've got. Is it better to take 18 now or hold on for 2 extra million or whatever it is and then maybe miss out in selling him and he gets injured and we can't sell him? Or we have to sell him because it's coming up to deadline?
Yeah, and the problem is as well, Chris, we're dealing with human beings here. So you've got what does Mads want? And you run sales team, and would you squeeze a salesperson for another year when they could move to and progress a career and thank them for how they've helped your company?
I would hope that I wouldn't necessarily encourage anybody to move on because I want them on my team, but I wouldn't stand in the way. And I would wish them all the best because I'd want them to go on and progress their career.
Yeah, and West Ham State, like you mentioned about Everton compared to Leicester for KDH, look at West Ham Stadium. Wow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I do think Mads going to West Ham is going to cement his international place in the team.
Yes, yeah. He wants to take over from Casper, doesn't he, as Denmark's number 1. you know.
And that's a natural progression. And there's nobody else, I don't think, ready to take that over from Caspar. So he's got to make that move. And I think, you've got what you want to do as a business, what you want to get out of the people under your charge. But sometimes you have to say, you know what, I'm going to shake your hand. I'm going to wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And I can completely understand why you want the move.
Yeah.
I'll miss you.
Yeah.
And you're an important part of the team. But
Dan said there, no, I mean, you're not disrespecting us at all. The PSR debacle has been nothing but a shambles by this club. You know, Piss Up and Brewery spring to mind. But he says, balance the books, future-proof the club. That has to be the priority after the years of PSR abuse. Look, I say, look at Mike Ashley at Newcastle. Newcastle fans absolutely hated him. But no way were they anywhere close to breaking PSR rules.
Never.
When the Saudis bought Newcastle, they had a great set of books and they could go out and spend a decent amount of money. Now, you know, and whether you like it or not, you've got to say well done to Mike Ashley for doing that. But
and also what's interesting is, Chris, after the Saudis took over, the son-in-law and grandson that love Newcastle to bits, that was a season where they thought they were going to have to sell either Gordon or Isak to meet PSR, and they sold Anderson to Forest and another player for 25 million, and they avoided it. So that shows you that that's the PSR. That's a buy to PSR.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. Rumours about somebody else leaving. Mr. Justin.
No, Chris. Skip past this. I don't want to entertain this.
Leeds United apparently Leeds United fans were creaming in their pants because he didn't play on Saturday. But apparently that was an injury, Leeds fans. So I'm sorry. You can, stop taking the Viagra. I'm not saying that's the only way you'll stay up, but there we go. Leeds United supposed to be in for him. Justin will be back on Sunday, apparently, against Sheffield Wednesday. And I'm ignoring, if you're laughing at Scott's comment, I'm ignoring it. But Everton are interested in him as well. I mean, I've got to say, I don't think he'll go. I don't think we can afford to sell him, especially with Ricardo's injury worries. And
JJ and KDH, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a bromance going on.
Just Wayne says hands off. Yeah, I mean, look, this is showing to me, if you're an Everton fan, this must be a great time to be an Everton fan. And I know they've had a few bad years, but that new stadium is fucking amazing, apart from that one seat. They've got a decent manager in. David Moyes, look at the miracle he did for them last season when he took over from Sean Dyche. And I'm not getting into a Sean Dyche argument here. But I can, and the players are, they are being linked. They're being linked to a Jack Grealish,
Decore is still with Everton. That'd be interesting. Decore is a fantastic player.
I'm not sure. But I would hate to see just, we've got Christensen and we've got Thomas, we've got Justin, and we've got Aluko. So we've got 4 left backs there. Which one do you let go? This is the guy that's going to make us the money.
Sorry, you're on about left backs or right backs, Chris?
Left backs. Don't you start, Mr. Mr. Wayne. Don't you dare go there.
I love James Justin. I think, we were so proud that he was on the verge. Well, he had an England call-up. He played really well in that game. And he just got injured. And then he recovered, got a secondary injury. But I love JJ. I think he was given too much under Cooper. I think Enzo systemised his brain into, the safe Enzo will break teams down eventually, which I found was quite often bollocks. But he's a great player. You know, he scored 4 fantastic goals last season. If you get him in around the box, and that's what in Marty's system, JJ, I think he's going to have one of his best seasons he's had in a long time.
Well, I'm just looking here. Let's have a look at Christensen. Right. Oh, that's interesting. And where is Thomas? Thomas isn't even on my list. So, I don't know what Thomas is earning. Justin Learn's 30 grand a week. Christensen's 25 grand a week.
And that's surprising. I thought JJ would be on a lot more. When you look at what JJ's on compared to some of those other people.
Yeah.
I think that's the trouble. You know, in a squad, you got Hermansen on 10 grand a week. He must be looking at some of the people on those monies thinking, you know, if you work for a company and you get paid 20 grand a week and you did exactly the same as other people, you think, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah. So I'm torn on this one because we have got cover at left back. We have got Hamza for right back, so he's not even needed as an emergency right back. I'm not.
Have you got a value? What is his transfer value, Chris?
You ask me all these questions, don't you?
I'm finally doing something. I'm turning the tables, Chris.
You're becoming a politician. You are. You're answering a question by asking a question. What was the question again? I've forgotten now.
What his transfer value is. So if he's going to go for a couple of million, I just don't think it's worth it.
James Justin at Leicester City. His market value. All right, you can take these with a pinch of salt. It says here his current market value is 13 million euros. So what's that? 14.5 million pounds. We're not going to do that.
13 million. I'll say it's about 11 million pounds, isn't it?
Is it? I thought there was.
I thought euros is less value than the pound, isn't it? I think.
Right. I'll check that as well while I'm here.
I like it when you was talking with Tom and you were on about, and Tom says we've signed Skip for 25 million. You says, well, I've done some research. It was 20 million, didn't you?
It is 20 million. It annoys me when everybody seems to add millions onto his value to make a point. It is 11.266 million pounds. You are quite right, Wayne. I will give you that one.
If you can get that, he's 27 years old, isn't he, JJ? But I think JJ physically is not like he plays like a 23, 24, 25-year-old JJ.
I mean, I'm just looking there. Christensen is 22. He's actually younger than Thomas. I wouldn't be too bothered if he goes because we have got cover there. I think Christensen is the one everybody would want to go. And I think he's been dealt... I mean, look, Justin was shit last season. But when we did at the end of season sort of player reports, we did actually put an asterisk next to his shit. I think he got a C- or a D. But we did suffice that with the fact that it wasn't his fault. Because, yes, he can play right back, but it's not his main position. His main position is on the left. So Ruud van Nistelrooy fucked him over a little bit there.
And Wout Fast fucked him over because he went on walkabouts rather than covering him.
Don't get me started on that guy. I'll get the wig out, so don't start. But I think Christensen as well. Problem was, whenever he actually, the few times he did get up to the other end of the pitch, he couldn't cross the ball because there's no fucker in the box. But we'll see.
Blue Fox Forever says he's got an injury, isn't he? He's got like a broken nose or something, or.
Has he? VK's got a broken nose?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Maybe somebody punched him.
Wow.
Now,
the thing is, I wonder what VK's value is compared to JJ's.
I don't know. Is the honest answer to that?
JJ, we love JJ. We love JJ, Chris.
We do. We do. Right, I'm trying to find, and I can't find it, to be honest with you. This guy, somebody tell me who he is. I didn't
Ollie
say.
McBurney, Chris.
Bernie. Is he going somewhere? Has he agreed to go somewhere?
Well, I'm trying to wrap my head around where this headline came from, where the source of this headline. The most wanted striker in the Championship.
Can I tell you where that headline came from? Me.
You weren't on the toilet having number 2, were you, Chris? And it just miraculously.
No, because I tell you why. Because the story that the 72 put out was that he was being linked with us, and about it has gone to Hull. Thank you, Azza. But he was being linked with us, and he was being linked with about 6 other teams. That's why I put that down, because it wasn't a case of like, he's been linked with Leicester and Ipswich, let's say. He's been linked with Leicester, Ipswich, Coventry, Bristol. It was one of those. Not my choice.
His agent was working the room, was he, his agent?
I think he was. So we can get him. Now then. Mr. Richard Coney, however you pronounce it, I think it's Coney, isn't it? Is in his last year. His price has been reduced because he is in his last year. They were asking somewhere at 7-8 million. Allegedly, it's come down to 3.5. He's been putting them away for Wycombe last season. I feel sorry for any striker we get in, because all we're going to hear for the rest of the season is he's no Jamie Vardy, is he? Jamie Vardy would have got that. Like with Mahrez. Every poor bugger that came in, well, he's no Mahrez, is he? No, he's fucking not, because Mahrez is Mahrez. And we had that until we got Lookman. Nobody was sort of in fans' eyes.
That Gunn, he was a really good player, but people were measuring him against Mahrez, weren't they?
They were, yeah. And this guy, they're going to measure him against Vardy. I personally would be very interested in signing this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm surprised people when it got reduced to 5 million. I thought, that is just a no-brainer. When you think some of the contracts are paying out and what his wages would be, and the position we're in, it's a complete
3 million. It's dropped to 3 million.
Yeah, even at 5 million, I thought it's a no-brain deal. Yes. So the fact that it's 3 million, you're thinking. So what is the question where the answer is we don't need to sign him?
No.
Because he's literally, is he raw? Yes. But has he got a great shot on him? Yes. Would he suit our system? Yes. Are there some elements of his game where he needs to improve? Yes. Has he got loads of higher quality players around him if he comes to Leicester who can help him improve? Has he got a manager who loves improving younger players? Yes. So in his mind, he must be thinking, please sign me.
Do you know what, though? You know what? All those things you've just said. You know who you were describing?
Who?
Jamie Vardy when we signed him.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Wycombe forward Richard Coney is expected to be the subject of a bid from a promotion-chasing Championship club this week after the Chairboys dropped their asking price for the forward. A number of clubs in the EFL and abroad, including League 1, have had bids knocked back for the 22-year-old Ivorian, but Wycombe are now willing to let their star striker go for a guaranteed fee of around 3 million plus add-on. We paid fucking 3 million for Koulibaly, who's not seen, the only grass he knows is the stuff that you smoke, because he's never been on the grass of the King Power.
And how many wages? What was the cost of Edouard's wages for the year for not playing? 4.5 million.
Yeah. And they were interviewing the Wycombe Wanderers manager and about Coney, and he was saying this was on one of the Wycombe Wanderers channels. He was saying that he's got to manage his time, and he has a very good relationship with him, and we'll see what what happened. So he wasn't denying it, wasn't confirming it. He's been following Leicester channels. So if you're following this one, Richard, get your arse up here. Get your arse up,
Richard. Come and feel the Leicester love.
Yes.
Foxes never quit.
Yeah.
Thing is, the way he plays it, he's got a real sort of tenacious attitude, which will suit Leicester and it will suit Martin.
Yeah. I mean, if it's promotion chasing, that limits it. Ipswich have obviously just sold Kiefer Moore to Wrexham, so they've possibly got a space there. Coney was subject of a bid totaling $7 million from Luton, managed by his former boss Matt Bloomfield in January, but Wycombe were unwilling to let the top goal scorer leave midway through a promotion campaign. Look, Richard, please, just get your ass up here. Look, Wycombe will give you $3 million and Daka.
Yeah.
Hello. We got a wanker in from Twitch. Here we go. There's always one comes in. Obviously, I don't know why they don't have call Twitch the Wankers channel. To be honest with you, I mean, for God's sake.
I mean, the thing is, though, Chris, like whether it's 5 million or 3.5 million, 1.5 million is such a small amount of money for somebody who's potentially. You're not going to lose money on Coney, are you? You're not going to lose money on that investment.
No. Look, we've been in the shit for a few years now.
Of what?
We have. You may have noticed with everything that's going on, but there's always somebody worse off than yourself. I feel our support goes out to Morecambe Football Club, the way they've been treated by their owner, and also this guy. Talking of wankers, this guy Chiseri, is it or somebody? What is he? Why buy a football club if you're going to do that? Because you ain't never going to buy a football club and then get rid of it and sell the land for housing and make money that way. You're never going to, because the fans will not let you. To
be honest, he looks like he's been on a come down from being out all night.
I think he looks like he's doing that number 2 you were talking about earlier. They were supposed to be playing Burnley, Dan's team, in a friendly, and they've said that it was easier to boycott a friendly than it was to boycott a league match. And then, of course, you got all the implications of, are they going to get fined or anything like that for doing it? Thank God the game's going ahead. I mean, Danny Roll. We didn't go for him. He went back allegedly because he was on gardening leave. He went back to Sheffield Wednesday. They then had 2 managers because Sheffield Wednesday had offered the job to his assistant manager. Then he left anyway. And I think we've dodged a bullet with Danny Roll.
Yeah, I mean that. So the board came in for a lot of criticism when he was identified as like a more modern style manager.
Yeah.
But as you said, Chris, at the time, would you want to be dealing with somebody like this in a business transaction? Absolutely not. Doesn't matter whether you really love to buy the object that they've got. You just look, like I say, it doesn't matter about what you want to buy. Look at the person you're dealing with. And he's a car crash. He's a complete car crash. Doesn't keep his word. I mean, not paying people's wages, that is just a basic of a business, isn't it? If you're not able to pay people's wages, you are basically becoming insolvent, aren't you?
You are. So, look, they've gone. Still plenty of tickets left for the game on Sunday. There's going to be protests from Sheffield Wednesday. I don't blame them. I hope our fans get behind Sheffield Wednesday fans. We've been there twice, when we went bus. So let's give them some support. There is a watch along on Sunday from 3:45 for the 4:30 kickoff. So join us for that. No team news, but shall we actually? I've got to load it. I thought I'd loaded it. Shall we have a look at the press conference from earlier?
Come on, Chris, let's have a look at that.
It's not long. So let's just here we go.
See. Just wanted to check on a few injuries at the club at the moment. Ricardo, James Justin, Victor Christiansen all missed out last weekend. How are they doing ahead of this first game?
Yeah, all of them are obviously improving after a few days. Ricardo got a minor muscular injury. He's still working on it, so most likely he will not be available for the game, but we don't expect him to be a long time away. Then the second one is Victor. As I said, he got a collision, an unfortunate one, during a practice, and he's on treatment, so he will miss as well the game. James Justin will be available for the game. He just picked a small knock, and he's all right and has been training well.
Any other fresh injuries ahead of this one?
No, touch wood.
I wanted to ask about the transfer market as well. Wilfred Ndidi has completed his move to Besiktas today. He's been a big player for this football club over the years. I wonder, when you look at your squad, how big a miss he might be over the next season.
No, definitely, as you said. I think that Wilf has been here for a long time. He achieved a lot of good things for the club, and he has been a really strong player for the team, for the club. So just to say thank you and wish him all the best in his new step, and have full faith on the players we got currently in the squad. There is a lot of potential, as I said, and I'm very pleased with what I've seen in the training so far.
Are you expecting any more departures over the next few days and weeks?
Well, definitely there is conversations around some players. There is interest around some of them, and I think that's the reality of almost every football club in the country, right? So some things may happen, but in any case, my target is to make sure that everybody who is here is 100% committed. Everybody is training at really high level and preparing the next game.
Will one of those likely be Mads Hermansen, the understanding that a deal has been agreed, or a fee has been agreed at least with West Ham?
Yeah, as I said, I cannot comment on Mads. Obviously, there is interest around him, but if there is any news or updates, the club will do it.
Where are the club in terms of bringing players in? I know we talked about the squad size before. Is that still very much the case at the moment?
Yeah, you know what we spoke some days ago. I'm a big believer on, first of all, I'm not very much into very big squads, and I'm aware that Championship is a league that is very demanding, and we play a lot of games. But first of all, I want to make sure that we don't have the bigger squad as it is now. And then second, of course, we are ready to bring players if they will help us to be a better team. At the same time, as you know, I'm very focused as well on to helping and to detect if there is anyone at the academy level or from the young players that is ready to help us. So I think it's going to be a balance in the next weeks.
In terms of the players that are at the club at the moment, I know you said last weekend you would meet with the squad and look to select a new club captain. Has that process happened? And if so, who will it be?
It has happened, and it will be Ricardo Pereira.
What will he bring to that role? He's, of course, worn the armband many times before, but for you personally, what was the decision selection like for him, and what will he bring to that?
Well, definitely I think that his career speaks by itself. He's a quality player that has been long time in the club. He knows very well the changing room, and what I've seen, the conversations we had together, we had already many over the last weeks. I see the great professional he is, the respect he's got from the players and the commitment he's got with the club, and all these made an easy choice.
You've got plenty of other experienced players, I'm sure, that you'll be relying on as well. Players like Jordan Ayew, who has plenty of experience too.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why as well we got internally what we call a leaders group. So Jordan will be part of it. We got some players as well that will support the captain into certain areas and to help as well to drive the culture, the kind of standards that we want in the club, and to help the young players that are coming in to as well to understand what does it mean to play for Leicester, to play for this badge. And you mentioned Jordan, but there are many as well that, despite different ages, will help on this process.
In terms of the game this weekend in Sheffield Wednesday, a lot has been made of their current situation. I wonder what your thoughts on what is happening at Hillsborough are.
No, I think that I have always full respect for all the positions, and Sheffield is a big club. obviously we hear things and we read in media other things, but my full focus is in ourselves. So I always respect a lot the position, but especially in the situation where they are, I think that we don't need to lose our focus, which is to respect, be humble, respect all the position. And I'm sure that perhaps all this adversity, most of times what it creates is a big commitment from the part. So I'm expecting a challenging game and a difficult game because of perhaps the situation they are going through.
I wonder as well, from your perspective as a manager, a head coach, when you're looking at an opposition who are going through something like this, where they've lost a lot of their players from last season, they may well have to look into their academy themselves this weekend. Does that make it a little bit more unpredictable, a little bit tougher to prepare for when you're looking in terms of what they might bring?
I think there is always a level of uncertainty when you start a season, because per season games might be a bit different. In the case as well, the last game they played, the friendly game they got against Burnley was cancelled. So obviously we don't get that much information as usually. But in any case, it's true that I know the coach, Henrik Pedersen, because we play against each other. My time in Norwegian League. I think that what we need to do is, as I said, understand what is the philosophy behind them, understand the current players they got at the moment, but as well to be aware that this will be the first game of the season. It's always a lot about the emotions, a lot about all the teams wants to start with the victory. So the emotional part is very important. And the fact that we can play at home, that our fans, I'm sure, that will be behind us, and that we focus in ourselves, taking as a foundation the performance we got the last week against Fiorentina, understanding it's going to be a completely different game. I think that's where my focus is at the moment.
Marty, thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Well, thought was a very good match. I mean, isn't it nice? I mean, I listened to that and I feel a hell of a lot more optimistic than when I used to listen to Ruud van Nistelrooy's.
Yeah, I really like the way Marty handles himself during the press. I think he gives information. He doesn't talk in generalities, which is typical PR stuff. It did make me smile when Owen asked him about any news on incoming signings, and he smiled because Owen's asked him before about it. He says, "You'll keep asking me until we get somebody." So I like the fact that he's not defensive and gets his back up. He sort of accepts that that's part of the game. And it's interesting what I said about Ricardo, because Ricardo's a footballer, isn't he?
Yeah,
got a lot of respect. So you can get why he's done it, but I like him. I like the way he handles himself, the way he interviews.
Yeah. Scott says Ricardo to get a contract extension or new terms. No, I'm sorry. No, he's no. Just no. I think we'll end with that one. Scott, what am I saying? Wayne, thank you very, very much, mate. Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, notifications and all that shit. If you're watching on catch up, you can subscribe as well, please, and get your comments in below. And as I said earlier, if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, whichever one that is, thank you very much. Some exciting news coming up as well about the TalkSport Fans Forum podcast as well. I will keep you updated with that as soon as we're allowed to. Wayne, have a good one, mate. Have a good Saturday. And hopefully we see you on Sunday for the playoff.
Me and Jim will be at the match on Sunday.
Oh, of course you will. Yes. Well, enjoy it. Hopefully you're not going to
might be able to do a post match like
Kate does. You'll be most welcome to send it me. If you do, send it on WhatsApp. Otherwise, I can't download it.
All right,
I know. Have a good time with Jim, mate. And, hopefully you won't become our unlucky mascots.
No, come on, Foxes.
Indeed. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you at 9 for the prediction show with Dan. Take care. Good night now.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.